Welcome to the Journey Amplified, where we amplify the journeys of newcomers and immigrants here in New Brunswick, Canada. Our guest today on the show is Samsudeen Kazim, popularly known as KSA. He is the founder of KSA Immigrations. He is located in Calgary, Alberta. You're welcome, KSA.
Thank you. It's a pleasure joining you.
How's the weather today?
Pretty good. The only thing is just like spring is not coming. We're still experiencing a lot of snow in Calgary. So hopefully in a few days' time, it's going to be better.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show. As we are speaking on the journeys of newcomers and immigrants, we thought that it might be nice to begin with something that resonates with where newcomers are coming from. What got them started into the whole immigration journey? Why Canada? Why New Brunswick? You know, I know that you were pretty pivotal to our immigration journey. From Nigeria to Canada. And the question that comes up to me is, why New Brunswick? I know that you have worked with so many other clients, helping them on processing their immigration here to New Brunswick. First of all, I'd like to know, why New Brunswick? How did you get to know about New Brunswick? Our journey started about over 5 years ago, about 7 years ago. And how did you get to know about New Brunswick, and why New Brunswick?
Okay, thanks a lot for that. You know, one thing is, if I'm not in Alberta today, the other province I'd like to be would be New Brunswick, because of the fact that I discovered they have a lot of aging population, and there is a need to invite new immigrants so that can help to grow the population of New Brunswick. So I think I did my research about New Brunswick in 2016. And I discovered it's like the population is not growing like any other part of Canada. And I just said that, it's high time we should focus into going into this province. So I galvanized some friends in Nigeria, and I encouraged them that that's one of the choice locations for you guys if you actually want to make it to Canada. And another thing is because New Brunswick is welcoming to a lot of people, irrespective of your age.
Yeah.
For some people that are struggling to make it to a lot of other provinces due to their age, New Brunswick has immigration-friendly program that accommodates people that even as close to 40, older than 40, and no other province can attract this type of age category. But I'm glad today a lot of people moved down there from Nigeria, and they are doing extremely well.
Absolutely. And that's one question that comes to mind. I mean, I think about it that if most of these immigrants coming into Canada are doing well, they have great jobs in their countries, they have good businesses, they have property, they have their lives all planted in that country, and they seem to be doing so well. Why are they looking at the option of immigration? Why has immigration become a top thing amongst this set of immigrants? Do you have any idea on that?
When you say doing well, let's bring it into context now.
Yeah.
You can be doing well and you don't have peace of mind. So Canada is unique because when you come into Canada, you have what is called peace of mind.
Right.
You can embark on anything that you want to do, and you get results because of the fact that you have inner peace with you that can make you to achieve your goal. So you can have back in your home country, you can have good job, you can have property, you can have a lot of things, but yet you still have to provide for basic things of life, basic amenities of life. You still have to provide that for yourself. But here behind in Canada, you are not providing all those things yourself because you pay your tax and your tax help you to take care of those basic needs. And the government is responsive as well, and they ensure that all immigrants, temporary resident, visitor to Canada, everybody have fair share of good things of life.
Right.
So that's why I say goodness is in quotes. So today, you have peace of mind when you are in Canada, and that's why a lot of people are looking at it to come to Canada or to settle their family, because Canada is one of the top secured country in the world. And what else are you looking for? When you have peace, you have everything.
Absolutely. I hear you so much on that. Peace of mind is one huge thing that, I have come to learn that here in Canada, your mental health is important. It's quite necessary. It doesn't matter how much money or how much wealth you have obtained, but without that security, without having that right state of, a great standard of living, it all doesn't matter eventually. And talking about that, most of these immigrants, newcomers coming into Canada today, have to spend a lot. It takes so much. What is the immigration process like? Because we're talking about property, people with an substantial amount of wealth. What is the process like? And I do understand that there are different streams of immigration. I did come in as a permanent resident, and I do have an understanding of how much it costs. I know quite a number of people who are coming in right now as students and are having to pay up their entire student fees just to come here to study. What is the immigration process like, and what are the different streams? What is the costs?
Okay. When you talk about the immigration streams to Canada, we have a lot. We have the temporary residence option, and you have the permanent residency option. So for the temporary residence option, you have just coming to visit Canada as a tourist. That's one. Then another one is coming to Canada as a student. That's another option. Then the third option is coming to Canada as a worker or as an investor. So that those three categories happens to be temporary in nature. So aside visiting Canada, study and work, coming to Canada as a worker can transition you to become a permanent residency. Or I'm going to be honest with you, when you come in as a temporary resident, you need a lot of financials. It's capital intensive.
Yep.
And because of that, the ready option that one could look at is the permanent residency option, which is not as expensive as when you come in as a temporary resident.
Right.
Because, for example, let's put into context, if you are coming to Canada with your family, let's say family of 3, it is not as expensive if you are coming in as a student. So if you are coming as a student with a family of 3, you need to have at least almost 4 times or 5 times the proof of funds that you will have used to settle in Canada as a permanent resident for family of 3.
That's right.
So basically the options is there. And for you to come to Canada, you must meet the criteria. Every program has their criteria, and you must fulfill the requirements of the program. So basically, that's all about, that's general overview of Canadian immigration.
Right. Yeah. I saw on your website that you have worked with a couple of nationalities. So you have worked with newcomers who are now in the country from different countries. I did see that Nigerians, you've worked with quite a number of Nigerians. I've seen that you've worked with a number of Asians as well. Do you mind sharing on those different countries that you've worked with, and what are those top countries that are looking into immigrating into Canada today?
Okay. I've worked with, oh my God, I've worked with lots of people across a lot of continents.
Yeah.
I have Australia. I'm working currently with some Australian clients. I've worked with some Asia countries like Philippines, Indians, and Bahrain. So I've worked with them. Then also I've worked with some clients as United Arab Emirates. So, and going back to Africa, I've worked majorly with Nigeria, and also currently I'm working with some Kenya clients, and also I have Ghana also on our radar. So it simply means we're actually expanding at KSA. And to be honest, um, all these different clients of ours, they have their uniqueness. They all bring something different to the table all the time. So, but I can say that in terms of processing documents or without having so much stress, my Australian clients, they are one of the top best. Then followed by Kenya. It's striking to me that Kenyans, when you ask them for documents, they furnish you with your document without stress. But and I hope also Nigeria can also come up with good documentations as well, because one of the limitation Nigeria is having as a country is because of documentation when it comes to migrating to Canada.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest, they have to ensure that their document is well tidy enough, is very verifiable on time, and this will make things to go fast with them. So those are some of my experiences with different clients across 4 major continents. So, and I'm equally enjoying working with every one of them. So, but most of our clientele are from Nigeria. We do hope that we can bring all other people as well, not just Nigeria coming to Canada. And we want much more people to settle in New Brunswick as well.
Right.
Some of the top countries that are hiring to come to Canada, of course, top on the radar is India,
Oh.
followed by Philippines. Then I think Nigeria is also there. Then China is also there. So I can say top 4 country as it stands now: India, China, Nigeria, Philippines. So when you're talking about temporary residence program, you have a lot of Chinese going for that. When you talk about permanent residency program, you have a lot of Nigeria and Indian going for that.
Okay.
Then when you now talk about work related, you have a lot of Philippines coming in for that. So, and all other countries follow in that order as well.
That's interesting. That's actually some very interesting data that you just provided there. And you did mention a couple of things that I'm going to pick on. You mentioned the uniqueness of each of these nationalities. What type of value do they bring? I mean, for example, you spoke about those coming in from China and coming in through the temporary resident program. Is there a reason why, and what kind of value do they all bring in?
Well, for example, Chinese, of course, they spend a lot. and they have the funds to spend in Canada when it comes to study in Canada. So what they are bringing is funds, and that is actually helping Canadian economy. For instance, you can talk about Vancouver now, which is predominantly dominated by the Chinese.
Right.
So they've actually brought lots of funds into the country, and that has helped our country economically.
Right.
So, for example, Nigeria, Nigeria is a robust country, and the people there are go-getter. So Nigeria is like changing the dynamics in Canada as we speak now. For example, let's bring New Brunswick into context.
Yep.
I think I heard couples of few people that came into the province. They came in as self-employed people,
Yes.
and currently they are making great numbers there in terms of creating jobs.
Absolutely.
For example, I have a particular client of mine currently in New Brunswick now. He has hired 11 Canadians in a
Wow.
span of 3 years.
Wow.
Not Canadians working for him. So that is the uniqueness Nigeria is bringing to Canada. Nigerians are not just coming to seek for employment, they are creators of jobs as well.
Absolutely.
So because of that, all across the province, coast to coast to coast, Nigeria is making impact. They are making impact. Okay, for example, I'm also a living testimony as well. I'm a Nigerian. I came into Canada. I set up my job now. I set up my company, rather, and I've engaged 3 people working with me. I'm creating job as well. So a lot of Nigerians going to BC, I have a lot of friends that are also creating jobs as well. So it means we are affecting Canada economically in a positive light.
Right.
The Indians are bringing tech into Canada. So, and that's also it's also revolutionizing the situation of things in Canada, creating jobs. The Indians are creating jobs, and that is what we're looking for. The Philippines are also helping at the front of caring for people,
Right.
child caring activity, so they are there. Housekeeping activity, they are there. So everybody's bringing value to Canada. And as a result of that, the economy is growing stronger. And for your information, Canada is ranked #1 in the world now in terms of productivity, long life, and a lot of many other things. So we are currently ranked #1 ahead of Japan. Japan has been the one dominating the first country in terms of economic productivity. But Canada is #1 as we speak now.
That's amazing. That's some amazing information. We're definitely going to look into that. Wow. KSA, you have provided some very enlightening information there. That's awesome. And that's the kind of information that we want to put out there. That's the kind of stories. It's the kind of stories we want to amplify, the type of journeys that we want to amplify of newcomers here in New Brunswick and in Canada as a whole. Indeed, we do have that understanding. I mean, there is word out there that newcomers are improving, bringing in some sort of economic development here into New Brunswick and into Canada as a whole. It's interesting to hear that as well. You interacting with immigrants like that and having some of that information and bringing some of this data here to the Journey Amplified. I have just one last question for you, because based on some of the questions that we have heard and some of the surveys that we have taken, is that Canadians will wish to have more immigrants who will integrate into the culture, who will integrate into the system, and not come in, you know, in as much as they embrace diversity and multiculturalism. They also want to ensure that immigrants and newcomers are embracing their own culture. Do you, as an immigration consultant, have any impact or any input into that?
Oh, definitely. As a consultant is to also help our clients in terms of settlement. So for example, at KSA Immigration, before your arrival in Canada, we try to walk you through the cultural aspect of Canadian lives and values. So we want to ensure that by the time you come into Canada, definitely you're going to experience some cultural changes and shock. Then we'll have make you to be immune to all those things. And what we also encourage our clients as they are coming in is also ways of engaging Canadians, the type of networking you need to go into, people you need to talk to, so all those kind of a thing. So typically, we engage in settlement plan before the arrival of our clients, and we generally educate them that Canadians are welcoming, and we also need to respect their space. And with that, things has been going on pretty well with new immigrants as they come into Canada. And also the government also have a support system as well. They have immigrants organizations, new immigrant organizations that also fast track integration of immigrants into the society. So we all have our part to play as stakeholders. So we are trying our best, educating our clients, and also talking to stakeholders on how best we can make things look good for new immigrants arriving in Canada.
Absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's really, really interesting and commendable that you do have that input in ensuring that new Canadians, newcomers, new immigrants do have that settlement platform. KSA, I have to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us today on The Journey Amplified. It's been a pleasure speaking with you and have you provide all that information to us.